So continuing with our lesson, we actually really don't have that much left, which is nice. Okay? Which means that as long as we get through this at a very good pace, or a decent pace, we're going to get a good chunk of work done today, okay? Which is dope, okay? Okay, we're doing the rest of it, we're doing this page, and then the flip side, which is just a graphic organizer to help us review the section. There's a lot going on. Okay? Correct. We're starting back on. So let me review where we've been, okay? So we started off with the conditional statements. Those are if-then statements with our hypothesis, and conclusion. Okay? Then we had some examples of that. Then we turned sentences into if-then statements, and we did that in our warm-up. Marissa did that for us, okay? Then we talked about related conditionals. We talked about our inverse, which was doing negating the not to both the P and the Q. The converse, switching the order. And then when they walk down the hallway holding hands, boom, they have a baby, okay? Contrapositive, okay? Or it's both negating and switching, okay? Then we went through, we practiced that. We said, hey, the conditional and the contrapositive have the same truth value always. The inverse and the converse have the same truth value always. That means you could have 2 trues, 2 false, or you could have 4 trues like we had here, or it's also possible to have 4 false, okay? We went through and talked there, and then we left off after this. We talked about biconditional statements. Bi means 2, okay? So it was our conjunction, the and conjunction of a conditional and its converse. So we took our conditional, P then Q. Our converse, Q then P, and we put and, the conjunction in the middle. We say, hey, we can shorten that down. We can make it P double arrow Q. And we read that as P if and only if Q. Now, because it's a conjunction and, this whole thing is true when each of these are true. So biconditional is true when both the conditional and the converse are true. Okay, we're not worrying about any knots. Okay, we're just worrying about one direction, other direction. Okay, one direction, that's what makes it beautiful, right? Okay, so we're talking about when both are true, the biconditional is true. Okay, so we went through an example here. We said, hey, 2 angles are supplementary. That's our hypothesis. Fast forward after the if and only if. The sum of their measures is 180 degrees. That's our conclusion. So we said, hey, conditional, if 2 angles supplementary, then the sum of the measures is 180 degrees. Converse, we switch that around. And we say, hey, both of those are true, so our biconditional is true because both were true. Okay, that's where we were. Now we're jumping off from there into where we're going. So let's do example 2 on this page, okay? I wear my snow boots if and only if it snows. That's a biconditional. I wear my snow boots if and only if it snows. What's our hypothesis here? A good idea is to highlight what our hypothesis is. Okay, Colton.
If it snows.
Not quite. What's the? I understand you saw the if. Okay, we see if and only if because it's biconditional. But we actually just look. We block out the if and only if, and we look at just the left part and the right part.
If I wear my snow boots.
So yeah, I wear my snow boots is our conditional. Okay, and then what's the conditional then? Just the. Well, what's our conclusion? Excuse me. Just the. It snows. Just that part is our conclusion. That's our cue. So he said the conditional goes in what order, Sam? In what order does the conditional go? What then what?
Hypothesis.
Yep. So our P and then the Q. Hypothesis and conclusion. Very good, okay? So for our conditional, we have to add the words if, then. So if, then what am I going to write here, Mackenzie? Yeah, if I wear my snow boots, then, what follows that, Kale?
The Q.
Yeah, which is it snows. Very good. If I wear my snow boots, then it snows. That's what our conditional is. Now, is that true? No, okay? What that's saying is, okay, if I were to put on my snow boots right now in September, is it going to magically start snowing?
No.
No, okay? So that's false.
Just
So
like
we
Triple
can
Tie
know-
Tuesday.
No, this is false. What did you say?
Just like Triple Tie Tuesday. You can't just put on your tie, Triple Tie, and say it's automatically Tuesday.
Exactly, very true. Or it's like I can't just wear pink and it's automatically Wednesday, okay?
Just wear fun socks every Friday, every day.
Every day. Okay. So our converse goes in what order?
Q then P.
Q then P. Thank you. Okay. So can somebody tell me what I'd write for this one? Okay, if it snows, very good. If it snows, perfect. Then I wear my snow boots. Now, whether or not this one's true probably depends on the person, right? Whether or not this one's true probably depends on the person, okay? Because, Mason might not wear snow boots. He's like, I think they're dumb and stupid. I don't know what Mason actually feels about snow boots. I haven't talked to him about this, okay? But he might be like, I think they're dumb and stupid. So if it snows, I'm not going to wear my snow boots. For him, that might be false, okay? But then, Peyton's over here. I love snow boots, okay? So if it snows, heck yeah, I'm wearing them. I'm taking advantage of that, okay? Once again, I don't know how Peyton feels about snow boots. I'm just taking a guess, okay? So maybe she likes them, okay? So for her, it might be true. So whatever that is for you, for me, I'll say, okay, true. Let's just say for grins and giggles, let's say it's true, okay? If it snows, I'm going to wear my snow boots, okay? So it might change based on you, okay? So what's our truth value if the conditional is false and the converse is false? Is our biconditional true or false? It's false. Why is it false? Because what? There's only one true, okay? It's false because our conditional is false. They both have to be true. Our conditional is false. Or we could say only the converse is true. Is this starting to make a little more sense? Yeah, see some head nods. Good, okay? Okay, hey, give you guys a choice here, okay? Listen up for this choice, okay? So, either we do number 3 as a class, and then we do 4 on your own, or we do 3 on your own, and then we skip 4. You guys want first option, second option?
First, it's gotta be a 2/3 majority.
Yeah, okay, hey, raise your hands if you want to do 3 together and 4 on your own. Raise your hands if you want to do 3 together and 4 on your own. Okay, hands down. Okay, raise your hands if you want to do 3 on your own and skip 4. Okay, that's the majority, okay? We'll do that one, okay? So we're going to skip 4, and we're going to do 3 together, okay? Or excuse me, we're going to do 3 on your own, okay? So, x squared equals 25 if and only if x equals 5. Okay, so we're going to try this. Those who, if you need help on this, raise your hand right now. I'll come by and help you, okay? So if you need help on this, raise your hand real quick. I'll come by and help you, okay? You do not have to have it checked, okay? But if you have a question, you can ask me. Hey, Jillian, what's our conditional? If x squared equals 25, then you can say x has to equal 5, or you can say then x equals 5, because this implied that it has to at that point. Very good, very good. Anybody share our converse, okay? Anybody share our converse here? Okay, go ahead, Colton.
X equals 5. X squared equals 25.
Very good, okay? Cool. So let's talk about these, okay? So this converse, I'm going to start with the converse this time, okay? if x equals 5, so let's say this part is true. If x equals 5, then does x squared equal 25? If x equals 5, then what's 5 squared? 25, okay? Will you ever get anything other than 25? No, okay? So that's true. So our converse is true, because if x does equal 5, if that first part is true, then x squared is equal to 25. It's not asking if x is 6. This is saying, if the first part is true, will the second part be true? Yeah, always. Okay? Now let's look at the conditional. If x squared is 25, let's say this part is true. Okay? A number squared is 25. X has to be equal to 5. Is that true? Okay? I'm actually going to disagree. I'm going to say that's false. Okay? Can anybody tell me when this might be false?
I don't get why the second one's true.
Okay?
It's like x equals 5 could be like anything, right?
Say that again.
X
X could equal
5.
anything.
But like I don't get what the second part has to do with the first part.
So we're saying if this first part is true, let's just say x is 5 now.
Okay.
Okay? It has to be 5. Then, is x squared equal to 25? Then what is, if x is 5, is 5 or x, what is 5 squared, Nolan?
Well, it's 25. I know
Every day
that.
of the week, right?
Yeah.
So it's always true.
Oh, but I didn't know you were putting like 5 over there by the x.
So if x is equal to 5, then can we substitute it in?
Yeah.
Yeah, if x is 3, can we plug 3 in?
Yeah.
So if we plug it in for that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're saying if x squared is equal to 20, thank you for asking. If x squared is equal to 25, if a number squared is equal to 25, we're saying that number has to be 5. I'm going to disagree. I think there's one other number it could be. Does anybody have any guesses on what that other number could be?
12.5.
Not quite, Sam. -5. What's -5 times -5? Positive 25. So I'm going to say it's false. And why is it false? Well, x could equal -5 in our conditional.
Okay, then if x equals, then y is second.
Why is the second one true? Because we're saying now if x equals 5, what is that squared? 25. So they're asking two different questions. They're asking two different questions. One saying, if we already know the number is 5, then what's that number squared? Oh, it's 25. Now we're saying a number squared is 25. What does it have to be? Well, 5 or -5, okay? And if we go back to our algebra skills here, okay? If we have the equation x squared is equal to 25, and we were to solve that, we would take the square root of both sides. We'd take the square root of both sides. And we should, and hopefully we remember after this example, if you didn't remember before, that you have to take the positive and negative version of that square root. Because positive or -5 squared would give us 25. Just be careful to take the positive and negative version. Because we have two different answers, because we have an exponent of 2. Okay? So that one was meant to be tricky on that part. Okay? That one was meant to be tricky on that part, but hopefully we wrote the conditional and converse correctly. Okay? Questions on that? Let's flip the page. So this is a graphic organizer to help us out. Okay? So we went over a lot of different things with our P's and our Q's. Okay? So first, you have these statements, P, vertical angles are congruent. Is that true? Vertical angles. Remember, those were the angles that made what kind of shape? Make an X, okay? So vertical angles, like this angle over here and this angle over here, are those congruent?
Yes.
100% of the time, okay? So that's true. 15 is a prime number. Is that true or false? False. Why is that false? 3 times 5 get 15, right? So it's not just 1 and 15. Okay? Conjunction. Look like P, what, Q? What went in between it for a conjunction? Think back to a few days ago now.
So squiggly with the equal sign.
Not quite, that'd be congruent.
And they're or.
Okay? This one? Yeah, okay, our caret, that's our and, okay? That's our and. That's P and Q, okay? Okay? Negating. Just a squiggly line is negating. Okay? So conjunction we write vertical angles, and we can shorten that down to vert, angle apostrophe S, okay, are congruent. I'm going to shorten congruent down to the symbol. I like shortening down to the symbols, guys. If it makes sense for you, do it. If it doesn't, don't. Okay? If the symbols are like, that just confuses you more, then write it out. Okay? So vertical angles are congruent, and 15 is a prime number. Vertical angles are congruent, and 15 is a prime number. This is going back to what we did 2 classes ago. Okay, doing that. Let's do less rings down half cluster. Now, for a conjunction, how many of them have to be true to be true? Oh, are these both true? No, so it's false. Okay? So our conjunction was the and. What was the disjunction? Or. And so what did we do with our symbol? It was the V, it's the upside down one. Okay? The or Q. So we write vertical angles are congruent. Then what do we write? What word next? Or. Very good. Or 15 is a prime number. And for these, how many had to be true for it to be true? One. So is this true or false?
True.
It's true. Don't give yourself a concussion, okay? I don't think that's scientifically accurate that you can't get a concussion.
I can't do that. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Literally.
Let's test that.
Push X to down, okay? Questions on this? Okay, this is a review. Remember, this is a review over what we've done. We did 2 lessons ago. Now we're going to do a review of last lesson and the first part of this lesson. Okay? So, now we have these statements below to write conditional statements. The hypothesis, it is St. Patrick's Day. The conclusion, it is March. Our conditional looks like what? P,
Like arrow Q.
yeah, P arrow Q. If P, then Q. So somebody help me write this.
Yeah, I do not remember that.
Okay? Okay.
It was whoever.
Okay, so that's why we're doing it right now too, to help us. Okay, we went over it last lesson. What we're doing right now is a review and to put it all in one convenient location to help us in the future. Okay. Okay. If it is St. Patrick's Day, comma what?
It is March.
Then it is March. Good correction. Then it is March. Now, if it is St. Patrick's Day, is it March? Is that true? Yeah. If it's St. Patrick's Day, it has to be March. Because when is St. Patrick's Day? In March.
What if
Okay.
it's leap year?
Okay. It's still in March.
Fine.
Okay. What's the inverse? What do we do to get the inverse?
P negate Q.
We negate P and we negate Q. So we do not P, arrow, not Q. If you read that, if not P, then not Q. Okay? So somebody help me out here. What?
If it is not St. Patrick's Day, it is not March.
Very good. If it is not St. Patrick's Day, then it is not March.
False.
Okay? Why is that false? I agree, but why?
There's more days than St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, there's more days in March than just St. Patrick's Day. Okay? 30 of them to be, in fact, 30 other days than just St. Patrick's Day.
You seem weirded out.
I just didn't think it was impressive.
He's just so What did you say?
That was a good one.
I was
Rude.
joking.
What?
I know.
I wasn't paying attention. What happened?
She said.
Nothing.
She said
No.
he is social.
No.
Grace was just not being kind.
Wow.
I think it was just.
You know what? I have the button, which
Yeah.
means I am being.
I had a button earlier, but then a student didn't have it and asked, hey, Mr. Carlson, can you find one? I'm like, here, just take mine, I'll get one later.
Okay, hey, not lying is not naughty.
Thank you. See? Okay, Emily gets it. Okay. Let's go on to the bottom of this part. Okay, the converse, what do we do to get to the converse?
Oh, you do Q,
Go to the conference
negate, then P. Wait.
You
Wait, converse, that's converse.
You just do it backwards. You just switch the order. Let's just Q then P. Okay?
Okay.
So somebody help me write this one here. Okay, Peyton? If what? What's our Q? If it is March, in case help me out here too. If it is March, then what? Then it is St. Patrick's Day. That's what our converse would be, okay? And then after we write our converse, after we write if it is March, then it is St. Patrick's Day, we can say, is that true or false? False, and that's for the same reason, right? False. There's 30 other days in March. It could be any of those 30 other days. Okay, now reminder, our contrapositive, excuse me, let me take a pause in case you need it. Okay. Our contrapositives, remember the hand holding? They have a kid now. What do?
Oh, you flip and negate.
You flip and negate.
Q, two, and then squiggly P.
Yeah, so it's not Q, then not P. Okay? If not Q, then not P. Okay? So can somebody help me write this one? Okay, go ahead, Marissa.
Okay. If it is not St. Patrick's Day.
If it is not,
Sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. If it's not March, then it is not St. Patrick's Day.
very good. If it is not March, then it is not St. Patrick's Day. Okay. Now, is that true or false? True. That is true. If it is not March, then it can't be St. Patrick's Day. Okay, it's the only way it could be St. Patrick's Day if it's March. Okay. The only way it's possible. So what was our biconditional? What was our symbols for biconditional? This one we did just a bit ago. If you need help on that with the page, Braden.
P, and arrow going both ways, and Q.
P, an arrow going both ways, and then Q. And we read that as P, if and only if Q. Yes, Nolan.
Okay, just like a really quick question.
Okay.
What does this have to do with
Yes.
math?
Yes, that's a great question, okay? What does that have to do with math, okay? So the reason we're doing this, I have been on last class week, actually, I answered that question. So we're using this, we're learning this method of logical arguments and logical, whether to say something's true or false and actually prove that. Okay? And we're learning that method via English, okay? Because we know English,
What does via mean?
okay? By the way of, okay?
I do not know it just yet.
Okay, so via means by the way of. So we're learning it through or by the way of English. Okay, that's how we're learning it. We're using it as a tool to learn this. Because if I throw new way of thinking with new math at you at the same time, that's really confusing. If I throw a new way of thinking with English, you can understand the new way of thinking. Then we can take that new way of thinking to math, and then we're able to grasp it better. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, and this will help us form logical arguments to go through the math and say, can we prove something is true or false? And I'll talk about how. Okay. So thanks for that question. Okay. Biconditional. Remember this. This is P if and only if Q. Can I get a volunteer to help us with this one? Okay. Okay, go ahead, Bull. Did you say you got it? Oh, never mind. Okay, I said I got it. Okay. Why? You feel brave?
Not really.
Okay, let's try it anyway.
It is March.
Start out with our P.
Oh, if it is March. No, it is St. Patrick's Day.
It is St. Patrick's Day.
If and only if it is March.
Very good. It is St. Patrick's Day. I don't need comments there, sorry. It is St. Patrick's Day if and only if it is March. Now we said, okay, back up. All we did was we took our P, it is St. Patrick's Day, but if and only if, then we put our Q, it is March. Now, for it to be true, which two did we say had to be true? The conditional and the, go back to the previous page if you need it. The conditional and the converse have to both be true. The conditional is true. Is the converse true? No, so that means this biconditional is false. It's only true if both are true, okay? We're dealing with double arrow, so we need both of our normal arrows to be true. Questions on that? Okay, here's what we're going to do, guys, okay? You have 91 minutes, okay? 9 plus 10, 91 minutes until lunch, okay? You're going to take this 91 minutes, okay, as work time on the rest of this worksheet, okay? So, if you didn't do the worksheet today, congrats. you get some extra time to work on it, okay? Either way, you have the rest of class to work on this worksheet, okay? What I want this to be is a great time for us to prepare because on Tuesday, next week on Trooper Tie Tuesday, we're going to be taking a quiz over our first 3 sections, okay? We're going to take a quiz over our first 3 sections. Quiz, go in with homework grades. They are worth more than a homework assignment, and they go in with homework assignments, okay? Grace, can you focus up on those, please? Thank you, okay?
No.
So, do that, okay? So they are worth more than a normal homework assignment, but less than a test, and they go in with your homework grade, okay? Not your test grade, okay? Questions on that? Okay, our quiz will be over our first 3 sections, okay, okay, on that. So if you need help, I pass back the homework, so you have those homeworks, you have the notes, okay, you have the videos, you can come in and ask me questions, all sorts of things. Questions on that? Go on.
Should have 91 minutes.
21. I said 9 plus 10. Hang on.
Oh, it sounds like you're saying 91. Oh,
21.
oh, there you go.
Is that better?
Hey, can you do that one thing from, oh, okay, I'm not gonna spell anything. It was like a spelling thing. And, yeah, you have to know this thing. It was like this spelling thing. It was like super weird and he spelled it wrong. It was like something like Gyarados something.
Iridociclitis.
Yeah, can you do that voice? Dude, do you know what video that
I
is?
don't know what you're talking about.
Are you for
It's
real?
a funny video from the internet.
His face just makes me laugh. Not your face, the guy in the video.
Oh,
Watch this. It's funny.
His head is like super big and it's
I think we should just watch some clean vines in the background.
okay, but on a serious note, my foot is really stuck and I'm kind of freaking out about it. No, like seriously, like I've been trying this whole time
Oh,
to
you
get it out.
should. No.
But now get the shoe out.
Grab it and twist.
Jam.
You turn it sideways.
Oh my god. That was so scary.
Are you
let's
blind?
spend this time as work time, guys. Okay, you guys can
No.
listen to music if you want. You guys can listen to music if you want. Once you are done with your worksheet, you can compare with somebody else if you would like, okay? Once you're done with your worksheet, you can compare with somebody else if you would like.
Alright, well, you better have the answers, buddy.
Okay, questions on that? Okay,